Hello, my friends. Jacobs here once again. Ho-ho! I'm so happy to be with you. So happy you pressed play. Spent a little time with me on another program that I spent very little time preparing. That's the way I roll here on the program. Just a meatball, trying to do God's will. Just looking for more. All of a sudden, I get all these ideas. I don't know, they just come to me. Who knows where they come from? Inspiration is an important thing. We got so many things going on in the world. We got so many discoveries. Big discovery made about a star. Gonna get into it. The morning star. Oh, great symbolism there. Go figure, right? The morning star, the farthest star, so far away. I see this and I immediately think of a wonderful verse in the book of Deuteronomy, which I'm going to get into. I know it seems like it's a little nutty, but all this is going to make sense by the end of the program. If you're new to the channel, I kind of bounce around a lot. Everybody in the comment section is like,
get to the point. Jacob, wait, if this guy just got to the point, if he just got to the point, I would listen more. I would.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I like to do things the way that I like to do things. And I think you're going to like this program too.
The symbolism continues. The Prince of Bel Air I shared. Bel being Baal. Everyone hates Chris. Everyone hates Christ. A picture, spiritually. Marduk, that I've talked about, who built the Tower of Babel, Nimrod, is also known as Baal. They love to worship those golden statues, right? Baal worship, huge deal. Back in the day, they used to melt down gold. Remember they paraded the Arch of Baal all around all the major cities a while back? Strange, right? Well, that's because in time past, people walked according to the course of this world, according to the prince of the power of the air, the spirit of disobedience. Oh, it gets better.
Because you think the saga at the Oscars and the slap heard round the world, you think that was the end of it? Which, by the way, I got a lot of people on Twitter. All of a sudden, everybody's got the epiphany. The epiphany. Oh, it came to me, and I understand what it means. Chris Rock is Christ, and Will Smith means to strike. Everybody's like, hey. I saw so many people posting about this. I'm just like, will you tell people about the channel? I don't mind you watching the show and getting these ideas. Maybe they come organically, maybe not. But I promise you, if they watch the show, if you just shared the show, there's so much more. And guess what? News that just came out about Chris Rock and this Will Smith thing, it just furthers everything that I was saying. About how the time has come for the ego of man, to be put to death. The end of it, right? That was the whole story. It's about time. The Antichrist spirit. Remember I'm doing the program? I've been telling everybody I've been working on this program. I've been working on it. And then every time I think I'm going to sit down and finish editing it, another show comes. So once again, I'm pushing this Antichrist show. But it's about this Antichrist being revealed to the world. It's about Christ returning. The day of the Lord, as they say. It's not going to come the way everybody thinks, but we're entering into just the most amazing time in history. And all of these world events, literally, even the Oscars, they're all pointing to this story that's playing out. And it's exciting. I hope you're excited.
King Richard was originally known for betraying his father, much like you would think Lucifer would. He and the other leaders, King Richard, they wanted a new world order. They wanted to conquer the Holy Land. King Richard overthrew his father to join this crusade. In Shakespeare, he was known for this. A horse, my kingdom for a horse. It's the green horse of the apocalypse. And of course, everywhere we're looking, we see green, the new iPhone green finish. Zelensky's talking about green energy. Yeah, the green energy, that's gonna stop it. Just that'll end the war. You know, this is ironic. Denzel Washington said to Smith, he says, at your highest moments, that's when the devil comes to you. Much like Lucifer, who's fallen from heaven, who said in his heart, I'll ascend into heaven. I'll exalt my throne above the stars of God. And we saw what happened with him. Very symbolic, how all of these things are tying together, the morning star. And yet, here we are, and we hear about the morning star that was discovered. Arendelle, the morning star. A picture of the soul of man. The summer of the soul that went down. So I started thinking about the Oscars, and I actually shared this on TikTok. You know, much more than just the rock of Christ being hit by the strong-willed striker. There's a spiritual meaning, a depth to this. Spiritually, if Chris Rock is symbolic for Christ, we understand that everybody hates Christ. We learned about this in Matthew chapter 10 and other verses. We get it, the world is not a big fan, especially the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Baal, Nimrod, Tower of Babel, all connected. The devil, Lucifer, all connected. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air does not like Christ. There he is in mythology right there. Yeah, so I think, let's look at the awards. We'll look at them in order. And I look at it and I say, wow, the best picture's person who's deaf. And I think about people who can't hear God. And I share them. The best was deaf. King Richard, a mess, originally known for Jerusalem's conquest. Tammy Faye, a champion, they say, and a clown makeup-wearing queen of Christian TV and adultery. They performed No Time to Die, enchanted by the power of the dog on a stage shaped like an eye. The award for Questlove Summer of the Soul was robbed by the Prince of Bel-Air, who struck the rock of Christ for people to see everywhere, because everyone hates Christ if they love this world. And the awards, I shared that on TikTok. You should follow me there. All right, now let's get back to the show.
So let's put all the, all the weird Chris Rock conspiracies aside. Let's put all the weird ideas, about the slap heard around the world, whether it was staged or not. People sent me pictures. It looked like Chris Rock had a pad on his cheek, and they're like, look, it was staged. And I'm thinking, why would he put a pad on his face? That just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Unless, of course, it was makeup and he was trying to make his cheekbones, look good. Some people do that. He's a celebrity. He's entitled. Imagine I come on here and all of a sudden I got these great cheekbones. It's just memory foam. So when I get slapped, I'm okay. I don't think that's the case. I don't think that's the case at all. But I do find it strange. I did share this on Twitter. That the same day that all this goes down and everybody's talking about alopecia, right? Alopecia. Everybody knows who we know personally because Dan's best friend, her son, Jacob. Another name, right? Cool name. We like Jacob. Jacob, such a beautiful guy. He's got the alopecia. His eyebrows fell out, his hair falls out. It's a terrible condition, right? Just so happens it becomes the forefront of everything. And same day, that group that tells you gotta get the wackadoo. You get the wackadoo or you get fired. That group that just came out with their documents. They coming out with the new alopecia medicine. Actually also for like Crohn's and everything else. I got Crohn's disease and I got ankylosing spondylitis, and I gotta tell you, I was on a lot of drugs, a lot of hard ones. Autoimmune diseases, they're no joke. I suffered. I had my intestines ripped out. I got the scar and everything to prove it. I had my intestines ripped out. I had so many procedures. I was on so much medication. Autoimmune compromise, they say. Another drug coming out. It's gonna help because all that stuff's all tied together. Once in a while I get the psoriasis. I used to share that it would grow here and it would grow here. And I made a big joke. I said, oh, maybe I'm being abducted by the aliens and they're just really hooking me up, as opposed to it being the psoriatic arthritis. Or it's the aliens. But it's all so strange, all of this stuff. But who cares? I'm not interested in that. I could care less if it was a big to-do. Turns out Hollywood is, they have Holywood, right? They used to worship the stars back in the day. They worship the stars today, just so you know. Holywood, magic wand, right? It's like Harry Potter, it's witchcraft, all of this stuff. So strange. Well, even Hollywood is saying that what Will Smith did was wrong. Now, I did a whole program about this. Whole program. If you haven't seen the show, it was my last show. Check it out right here. Where I was talking about this being, it's about the attack on the soul, right? He was giving out the award for the Summer of Soul. The Oscar winner, Joseph Patel, shared his experience from Sunday night. The big news is Will Smith stole the award. Now, I talked about this. The strange part of it being, it's quest love. Those who are on a quest to love, serving God, right? And the award was for the Summer of the Soul, or when the revolution couldn't be televised. I've been talking about the spiritual revolution for a long time here, right? Can't be televised. It's not... right? The algorithm, and people don't let things go on. Unless, of course, you're a laptop that all of a sudden is coming to the news on the channel. We know I've been talking about that laptop a long time because of a dream I had in 2015. We'll touch on it in a second. So this is my website, jacobisrael.com. You should go and subscribe. This is an essay I wrote back in 2015 where I was talking about it wouldn't be very long towards we were going to see flooding, earthquakes. I had this terrible dream, okay? And in this dream, I saw a building that I thought was this. I couldn't think of a domed holy site, but as time has gone on, because of course walls were torn down and people stormed this place, I learned that perhaps this dream that I had in 2015 was about what happened on January 6th. I thought it was the Temple Mount. I just knew it was an important holy site. Thousands of people were there. There were gates that were set up, and everybody crashed the gates. There was also this huge statue that I saw, which now reminds me very much of Donald Trump, which is strange. Now, this is where the dream got weird. I had a reader of mine who was carrying a briefcase, opened it up, and inside it looked very much like a bright red bomb. But the man was holding it. They said it was a laptop, and they referred to it as a bong, to get high with, disguised as a laptop. Okay, now this is where it gets a little strange. Okay, because we know there is a laptop today that everybody is talking about, and we know that this guy has has a thing for bongs. So it's just a little coincidental. A little more coincidental is the fact that in the dream, I was told it's the new Sussman. Now, what was strange about this was there was actually a laptop that was shot up in Israel earlier, Lily Sussman, because they thought that it was, a bomb, even though it wasn't. It was just a student's laptop. I've hid this laptop in thumbnails for a while now with Biden holding it, President Biden. But what's strange is that it was called the Sussman. Now, today's news was quite shocking for me. Who is Michael Sussman? Okay, so here we have the new Sussman, and the new Sussman, which, by the way, I remember thinking in the dream I was worried there'd be some kind of an attack, and I woke up. Okay, and the attack happened, they say. It was whatever it was on January 6th. Bright red, that could be a symbol of, communism. I don't know. Could be China. Could be nothing. Could just be a weird dream. Could have been bad pizza. But it is quite coincidental that here we have a laptop that could change everything and connected to. And this is just, this is news that's going on right now. And we have this guy, Michael Sussman, Hillary Clinton's lawyer, who we found out was paid to spy on Donald Trump. So we have a lot of this is very strange. A lot of this is very strange, and that's why I think big things are about to go down. A big shakeup is coming. I'm a spectator, some would say, a prognosticator of the coming days. I look at God's plan as a spectator in the stands who understands things that may come our way. I just look at life as a big love story that reveals God's concealed glory in the patterns I see when I pray. I shared that on Twitter. And I wrote that poem because I was trying to explain to somebody at the gym what I kind of do. It's like, what do you do? I'm like, I don't know. I look at the world. I look at everything as like an author would, because I'm a writer. I got a novel. I got a really cool novel. It's called The Calling. It's the voice in the dead woods. The Calling. Which, by the way, I entered this into evidence. It's at the end of your book. I talk about 2022. I wrote this in 2008, and then I wrote the re-release with all the new stuff in 2016. 2022 September I thought was a big day. But anyway, yeah, so I'm an author. I write things like there's a deeper meaning to this. Even if you look at the cover, right? We start off here, we end up here. It's a desert wasteland here. It's paradise here. It's good news. God's not giving up on us. People have just given up on God. Best documentary goes to this, and they go up, and nobody's talking about it. Nobody cares. They weren't too thrilled about that. And then Chris Rock made a joke about him being like one of the 3 white guys, and he's like, "I'm not white. I'm of Asian descent." He was upset. He felt like he was robbed. Chris Rock says Questlove, Thomas, and 4 white guys. And then in his head, he was like, what in the actual F? He was ecstatic to be the 3rd South Asian to win that night. Along with Riz Ahmad and Anil Kari. I don't know any of these people, but it's in Rolling Stone, so. He was one of 3 Asians winning that night, and Chris Rock, they robbed him. They robbed him of that. Even though he was drunk and tweeted out how happy he was at the party. He had some time to reflect. I get that. It just seems like the world it's a little bit weird right now. It's a little bit weird. Seems like there's maybe a dark force that has been unleashed in the world. Like that Japanese rock that I did a video. If you haven't seen my video on the Japanese rock, I think it's called like Satan Loosed. Check it out. Nine-tailed fox demons released. This is actually in the book of Revelation. That towards the end, when it's time for the culmination of all things, the kingdom of God to be restored to the world's corrupt. We need things to go in the right direction, right? So it has to get bonkers. Every nightmare has to get really bad before the person wakes up. We're going to wake up, people. God's got a plan. I got a great message for you by the end of the show if you stick around. When the 1,000 years are over, Satan will be released from his prison, will go out to deceive the nations. For the four corners of the earth, Gog and Magog. A lot of people talking about Gog and Magog because of what's going on in there. Hey, it's a bird, it's a crane. Hey, you crane, right? They marched across the breadth of the earth and surrounded the camp of God's people, the city God loved. In other words, Satan's will be coming for the people who are doing the will of God. But fire comes down from heaven, devours them. In other words, there's a war on for your soul. Everywhere, right? We've been talking about the trident on the program, how it's symbolic of the psyche. The trident, which is the 23rd letter of the Greek alphabet, that's like the last letter before Omega. We're going into 2023. The eclipse comes at 2024. There's a 7-year eclipse I've been talking about on the program. 7-year eclipse. Great American Eclipse makes an X over the United States of America. This one. And I said that we were going to be in for a tough time for 7 years, but 2024 is right around the corner. Satan's loosed for like a short time. It's coincidental that rock opened up about now. But the devil that went out to deceive him, destroyed like fire from heaven. I've explained on the program what fire is symbolic of. It's purifying. Words, they're a sword. Take the S off of the end, you get sword. Jesus comes, he speaks, he has a sword in his tongue. It's words. They're like a purifying fire. You speak the truth, and the truth destroys the lie. People that are possessed by devils, scripture, to gods they newly came up with, to gods they did not know or their fathers knew, lies. Father of all lies. That's why it's the truth that sets us free. We're going to be set free from the lies. There's going to be a death of the ego of man, or the carnal mind of man, or the Antichrist. Isn't it ironic? It just blew my mind. Because after this whole shenanigans at the slap heard round the world, guess what happens? Chris Rock's sales of his tickets, they go from like $30 to like $400, $500. All of a sudden, he's like the hottest ticket in town. And guess what the name of his tour is? Ego Death Tour. The death of the ego. Come on. Come on. Check, please. Check. Waiter. Wait.
Waiter, check please. Check.
But we're in this hour. We're in the last hour, the 11th hour. The 23rd letter of the Greek alphabet. We're at the last letter. The 23rd. The trident. Christ hands out the Chris, which means Christ, hands out the award for the summer of the soul. The award's coming. The death of the ego is coming, following the tour. Just beautiful. We see like 23 in the news everywhere too. 23 is a big deal. The Rams, right? The Rams from the Super Bowl, 23. Everywhere you look, you got that trident. That's the symbol for the soul, the symbol for the psyche, or the intellect of man. But what follows that is Omega. And Christ is the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. And we're coming to an end. And how do I know this? Well, because astronomers discovered the farthest star ever spotted. A lot of people sent this to me. They emailed me because they're calling it the morning star, the rising light. That's what it means in Old English. It's nicknamed the morning star, the day star. That was the network I used to work for, the Christian network. Isn't that weird? Jacob's known for wrestling. I was the head writer for wrestling, WWE. Jacob's known for working for Laban, a sheep shearer. He was a shepherd. I worked for Christian TV. I was a shepherd. The network I worked for was called the Day Star. Till the day star rises in your heart, the morning star. A lot of people saw that and they think of Lucifer. But it's a picture of both. Christ and Lucifer, if you will. Got a whole video on Lucifer, just so you know. A lot of people think that Lucifer and Satan are the exact same. I know it's going to bother some people, but they're not. They're not. Just watch the video. There was a man that was in the garden that God created that was great. But that problem was he wanted to be like God. He built a tower. Nimrod, the trident. That's the Morning Star, the Lucifer. That's the problem. And then here we see in the news, astronomers discovered the farthest star. The one that is farthest away. Think about that for a second. See, a lot of people say, how many people will God save? I don't know. As many as God decides. Because God's in control of everything. But Jesus said very clearly, out of all you've given me, I've lost not one, but the son of perdition. Who's that? Done shows on it. Got the Antichrist show coming out. Son of perdition, son of hell. The ego. Chris Rock's tour. It's the death of the ego. It's just so beautiful. How it all works together. How it all works. I'm a prognosticator. I'm a spectator from the stands who understands God's plan. There's a war on for your soul, right? You got all the political people, right? What's his Save America, right? We need a savior. They were fighting for the soul of the nation, and then Biden, of course, never mentioned the name of God in his National Day of Prayer. I've been sharing stuff for so long, seeing things, saying, oh, maybe this is going to happen. And then they happen again and again and again and again and again, knowing I'm just a meatball, just trying to share the love of God with everybody. And when it happens, at some point, it's like, people need to just say, maybe there is more. Maybe it's time for me to pray. Maybe I'm just, because I'm not offering you a religion or a denomination. I'm not telling you where to go. All right? You don't got to go anywhere. You just got to go to God. There's a passage that says that the day has come when you'll no longer need to go door to door telling everybody, know God. For you're going to know God. Everyone will, from the greatest to the smallest. It's going to happen. God doesn't need your approval to make the truth known to those he's chosen. So they find the farthest star. That's huge. Because I just think it's all perfect timing. Because so many people are so stressed out and they're so worried about what's going to happen. And I'm not here to say things are going to get easy. I'm here to say, watch things get really, really, really stressful even quicker now. When you're about to give birth, when you're pregnant, this is the day of the Lord. They compare it to that. Jesus compares it to that. When you're about to give birth, it's scary at first, right? These are the travail, as travail. That's as it comes upon a woman. You think when you're pregnant, you think you're going to die. So I don't know. I've never been pregnant. So I don't know. I have 4 children. I've been there. So I've seen my wife think things, she was going to die. I've seen it. But in the end, everything that you suffered, all those labor pangs, all that pain, all that back pain, all the cravings in the middle of the night and all that stuff, it all goes away when you see the beautiful new life that was birthed through that pain, through that suffering. Spiritually, it's so beautiful for us to all learn from. So in the midst of all the craziness, into the midst of all the nonsense, in the midst of this order in the world that is new, that is about to take hold of the financial industry and hold of everything else, and everybody's so stressed about what's happening next. In the midst of all of it, there was a star discovered the farthest away called the Morning Star. And I saw that and I thought to myself, well, isn't that beautiful? That's God's way of saying, the lie has been revealed. We've discovered the liar. That's the ego in man. Chris Rock, death of the ego. The Antichrist that's sitting on the throne has been discovered. When you know that the enemy is actually in you and you stop looking outside of you for the enemy, Christ comes with the brightness of his glory. The revelation of what has been concealed, the revelation of Christ in you, the hope of glory. When you know that God is the answer, the only way, and you put your trust in the Lord, even if you've been banished to the most distant land under the heavens, from there the Lord your God will gather you and bring you back. Even though you're the farthest star from God right now, God found you. God's going to grab you, and God's going to bring you back. That's a beautiful thing. That's in Deuteronomy 30, verse 4. But let me read this to you. When all these blessings and curses I've set before you come on you, it's happening now, and you take them to your heart, wherever the Lord your God disperses you among the nations, whenever you start looking at the world the way it is and you take it to heart and you go, holy mackerel, maybe it's time. Maybe I should pray. When you do that, and when you and your children return to the Lord your God and obey him with all your heart and with all your soul, according to everything I command you today, then the Lord your God is going to restore your fortunes and have compassion on you and gather you again from the nations that he scattered you. Even if you're the most banished to the most distant land under the heavens, from there the Lord your God will gather you and bring you back. He will bring you to the land that has belonged to your ancestors. He will take possession of it. He will make you more prosperous and numerous than your ancestors. The Lord your God will circumcise your hearts. That means get rid of all the bad stuff. Get rid of the flesh. Like literal circumcision. God doesn't care about literal circumcision. It was a picture. We understand the spiritual by the natural. You get rid of the flesh. The Lord your God will put all of these curses on your enemies who hate you and persecute you. You will again obey the Lord, follow all of his commands I'm giving you today. Then the Lord your God will make you the most prosperous in all the works of your hands and in the fruit of your womb, the young, your livestock, and your crops in your land. The Lord will again delight in you and make you prosperous, just as he delighted in your ancestors, if you obey the Lord your God and keep his commands and decrees that are written in the book of the law, and turn to the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul. And what's the law? Jesus made it so simple. Love God with all your heart and all your soul. Love others. If you love others, if you love unconditionally, you fulfilled the law. And God is going to restore everything. It's time for you to trust in God. Time for you to, I said this a long time ago. long before all of this stuff happened, I had thumbnails with Putin, with Biden. The quote, "Don't put your trust in the shadow of Egypt." Don't put your trust in the system. It's going away. A new day is upon us, people. And that's good news, because those that have been farthest away, we're like the stars. We're like the stars. The farthest star has been discovered. You think that Christ is not going to leave the 99 that have been faithful to find you? You think that you got to do something? Just thank God. Thank God for it. And just say, "Lord, your will, not mine." I love each and every one of you. I hope that this show helped you out a little bit. Do me a favor, share the channel around, tell people about it. Tell people about the things that you're learning here and seeing here. Get yourself a copy of The Calling. You want to get yourself a Buckle Up shirt or Uranus is a Planet mug, because Uranus is a planet. It is. All the stuff's in the description below. Follow me on social media so that you get up to date with all the stuff. I share a lot of stuff on Twitter, so follow me on Twitter too. Telegram, all of that in the description. Right below. You just look down. See that? Click that thing right there. Don't forget to leave a like too. I love you. Don't forget to check out my novel too, will you? I'll play the trailer now. Here, enjoy the trailer.
September 10th. Mars hangs closer to the Earth than it has in 6,000 years. Like the light that led men from the east to a child in a manger, it could well be a sign of good things to come. Thomas James shall be his name. The world will change because of him. In the small town of Bethel, in a time not unlike our own, a child with a great purpose is born. Years later, alienated by his peers and abused, Thomas suffers a devastating loss. When it appears he has nothing left to live for in the world, this is when his true calling begins. While trying to escape the sinister powers that be, a terrifying vision haunts him. Miraculous events seem to follow the peculiar young man as he struggles to come to terms with what he was born to do. The stage is set. The time is at hand. The truth will rise and a revolution will begin. The startling revelation of who Thomas James is, truly, will change the lives of those around him and set off a chain of events long ago foretold. There is more to this novel than one might think. Inside these pages hides a treasure just waiting to be discovered. So if you've ever wondered if there's more to life, or why it is we suffer, then this story will not only captivate you, it may just open your eyes to a truth that could set you free. Find out what is in us all that makes us heed the calling. Click it.